If you would like to see the Hedgehog opening in action, then you have come to the right place. I'm Grandmaster Max Illingworth. I'm a chess grandmaster, two-time Australian chess champion, high-performance coach, and my mission is to help chess improvers like you to play better chess. Now, as you can see with the opening here, we have basically got the Hedgehog set up here where Black has placed the pawns on the 6th rank, right? And has this very flexible position where, yeah, on the one hand, White has a bit more space in the center, but Black is very flexible. You know, this bishop is quite active. Black can try to counterpunch in the center on the queen side later, maybe even try to attack on the king side, depending on the position. And so White faces a challenge of, well, how exactly do you make the most of the extra space? And we will return to this position that was played in this game between Alexander Onyshuk against Gabusian in the tournament for the Corporate Chess Championship 2024, where White was playing for the Greco team, Black was playing for Chess Mood. And I'll explain a little bit later why Rook 81 probably is not the best move for White in this position, but before I do that, I want to share with you that there's actually a few other ways in which you can get Hedgehog-type positions. You might be wondering, well, how do we get a Hedgehog against e4? And one way you can do that is by playing the Sicilian. Specifically, the Khan Sicilian is the main way you can normally get a Hedgehog, where after a6, let's say they go bishop d3, like I actually did a video on this a bit earlier on the channel. You know, where Carlson was playing it this kind of way, like knight d7, trying to kick away the knight, and you can sort of see how it ends up being a kind of familiar Hedgehog-type structure, right? And what if they play a move like c4, for example? Well, in that case, there are a few move orders, but the main one would be something like c5, knight f3, and, you know, basically when they play the move g3, we're going to go b6 and basically meet their fianchetto with a queenside fianchetto of our own. Castle e6, and, you know, once again, you can sort of see that we are kind of heading towards a Hedgehog setup, right? Like castles, a6, knight d7, you know, all the usual stuff. And so if you like these kind of system openings where you don't have to think too deeply about the first 10 to 15 moves, but you can just get a familiar type of structure, then there's certainly an approach that you may appeal to with the black pieces. I know, for example, that Jose Martinez has been very successful with this in online blitz, becoming one of the best blitz players in the world with such an approach. So if it's good enough for him, it's probably going to be good enough for you, right? If you're enjoying this video, do show your appreciation with a like and also subscribe to the channel. If you're already a subscriber, you can make sure you get all of the videos in the feed by just clicking that notification bell and setting the notifications to all. Sound good? Alright, let's see how this game played out. So after queen c7, b3, so a kind of standard maneuver you'll see in a lot of these positions is to play like rook c8, and there's also the reason, by the way, why the rook would be better on c1 and the other rook on d1, because now let's say White plays bishop f2 here. You know, already the move b5 is a little bit annoying. You're hitting the knight on c3 indirectly, and, you know, if we're kind of able to trade off their pawn, that also makes it easier for you to be able to play d5 and get play in the center, right? So you can sort of see why, in this position, you know, White should have the rook on c1, not on d1, basically. Because you leave the other square for the on d1 for the other rook. But rook f8 was played. Bishop f2, rook a8. You know, White does now correct the mistake. And, okay, in a position that's this strategic, like the loss of tempo is not the end of the world. This bishop d8 is the same-ish maneuver, like kind of approach that you'll often see, like, let's say Jospem goers go like knight e5 and try to push the h-pawn and attack. But perhaps, you know, Black might have been a little concerned after knight a4 that maybe his pawn would come a little bit under fire, you know, even though you can play like knight fd7 and like bishop a8. So it's like it's not the, you know, not the biggest problem. Like you can defend the pawn and, you know, hit back in the center. But I think this is the reason why Gabusian went for bishop d8 at this point. White played the move knight c2, bishop c7 defending the pawn. White plays the move pawn to g3. You know, maybe bishop g3 is a little more to the point, but g3 was played. You know, this does have the disadvantage you are weakening king a little bit, right? So if Black plays like h5, h4, you know, you're going to be able to create some weaknesses in the white position without, you know, weakening your own king too much in comparison. But Black played the move rook cd8, knight e3. This was a rapid game, by the way, so it's maybe one reason why the players maybe didn't play the highest quality moves objectively, but, it's still a normal position. You could play a move like a4 if you really want to avoid a b5 break in the future, just like very prophylactic. But it's true, like you'd rather have the knight on b3, go a5, and try to weaken the structure in that way. Or even go for c5 as normally the plan white would be going for. And with the knight on e3 rather than b3, that's much harder to achieve, right? So this is why white's up is not the most harmonious here. In the game, white played g4, just trying to attack. And I think that at this point, the game loses a little bit of its relevance. Like, black played knight h5, and the knight kind of ended up being sort of left out to dry on h5, and probably, in all fairness, black should have lost the game from here, but somehow he managed to turn around and trick his opponent in the time scramble. But I think that if you just play knight fd7, your position is going to be playable. Yeah, white does have a little bit of initiative, like h4, they have a little something, but okay, like you can play f6 and you can sort of fight back. It's not like completely one-way traffic. Because if white loses control, like his king is definitely quite exposed, right? So that's really one of the things we're kind of playing on when we play this sort of way. In any case, I hope that you enjoyed this little video sort of introducing the Hedgehog. If it is something you'd really like to master, I know that going through the book on the complete Hedgehog Volume 1, and also there's Volume 2 by Sergei Shipov, this is quite a nice resource that goes very deep into it if you really want to master it. I know like another Australian GM, Malton Lee, he actually went through this book and, well, by going through, is able to even now play IMs and GMs in these positions. So you may find it appealing as well, but this at least will get you in the game with a decent position. And yeah, let me know in the comments below, like, did you enjoy this slightly different style of video? Do you want me to do more like this, or do you have some specific requests of different topics you'd like me to cover in the future? Just let me know down below either way, and yeah, I'll see you in the next training. Take care.